does the U.S. still regard the Taliban as a terrorist group?
We regard the Taliban as an enemy combatant in a conflict that has been going on in which the United States has been involved for more than a decade. And in this case, although, as you know, we dealt with the Qataris in order to secure his release, it was absolutely the right thing to do because he was a uniformed member of the U.S. military who was in captivity as a prisoner, not as a hostage. And so we sought his recovery and succeeded in recovering.
All right, welcome to Give Me Five. That was Mark Knoller at the White House asking, do you still consider the Taliban a terrorist group? More.
So the negotiation to obtain Sergeant Virgil's release is not a breach of that policy of not negotiating.
It is absolutely consistent with decades, and I venture centuries, because we've had more than two now in the United States, of past practice when it comes to prisoners of war and exchanges of prisoners.
Centuries. Centuries. I don't recall in earlier centuries that the Congress was required to get 30 days notice before you make such an exchange. But, you know, let them have their own facts. It's what they do best. Now, Mark Knoller wasn't the only one to ask a question of Jay Carney. Joe Johns of CNN asked this beauty.
Obviously, a lot of questions about the legality of this. Point blank, does the president feel as though on this issue and this kind of issue he's above the law?
Absolutely not.
Ho-ho! Is Joe Johns still working at CNN? Does the president believe that he's above the law? What, is he taking lessons from Jake Tapper? Whoa! All right, more.
To be clear, the 30-day notice requirement has appeared in NDAA bills and in other legislation in this and prior years, and we have repeatedly noted concerns with this requirement. In signing statements, the president, has consistently made clear that the executive branch must have the flexibility to act swiftly in conducting negotiations with foreign countries regarding the circumstances of detainee transfers if necessary. And that was certainly the case here.
Good reading, Jay. I give Joe Johns credit for asking that question. I give Jeffrey Toobin of CNN credit for saying the president clearly broke the law. That was in the Gimme Five last hour if you were fortunate enough to watch it. And here's more from Johns and Carney.
On the issue of those signing statements, the president said when he was first running for president that he thought restraint needed to be used with signing statements. Is this an example of presidential restraint?
I appreciate the way you phrase that question because it's often misreported that he somehow took a position against all signing statements, which was never the case as a senator and candidate. He made clear that there were times when it would be appropriate, but that the authority to issue signing statements should not be overused or abused, and that a president should exercise restraint. And I think if you look at his record in office, now 5.5 years, you'll see that restraint demonstrated.
All right, and then Jay Carney goes on to ramble about signing statements, which, remember, the president, as indicated by Joe Johns, ran against Bush using signing statements. But once you're in office and you're President Obama, it doesn't matter what you said when you were running.
But there will be and have been circumstances when signing statements are necessary because of the president's view and the executive branch's view of the constitutional issues involved in a particular legislation. And with regard to this specific situation within the NDAA bill, that was already addressed within a signing statement.
Right, and just one more, even though we did it last hour, I want you to watch Jeffrey Toobin one more time here, talking about the president and the law.
Oh, I think he clearly broke the law. The law says 30 days notice. He didn't give 30 days notice. Now, it is true that he issued a signing statement, but signing statements are not law. Signing statements are the president's opinion about what the law should mean. Now, it may be that the law is unconstitutional, a violation of his power as commander-in-chief, but no court has held that. The law is on the books, and he didn't follow it.
All right, so there you go. He absolutely broke the law. So says Jeffrey Toobin, as far from a conservative as you could possibly get on the Steve Malzberg Show.